the Moon and the Sun. Using the method of reverse engineering and with knowledge of electromagnetism, electromagnetic fields, gas ionization, fluid mechanics, dynamics, frequencies and oscillations, we ended up discovering something important for the starting point of true science research. The Moon is a phenomenon of ionization of the ether at a certain high layer due to concentrated cosmic energy minus, where it comes concentrated there. This energy, as it comes from the bottom up, is refracted at the ceiling of the field and then imprinted below on the Moon imprint layer, where it is imprinted concentratedly. In this way, the Moon works like the mirrored hologram of the Earth. The existence of the Sun is due to the same phenomenon, except that the Sun constitutes the other cosmic refraction, plus. Due to the source of the phenomenon, the Moon has the ability to capture the relief of Earth in live transmission, impression of a material field on the ether, with great detail, giving us the possibility to observe there the size of the Earth, to distinguish the continents and oceans, to observe the relief of the ocean floors, to get information about the subsurface, to find energy points and deepest ocean points, which also correspond to the stars and constellations, to find hidden distant or nearby continents, and generally to study geography, physics and cosmology from this point of view. The movement of the Sun and Moon led us to the cause of their creation. The phases of the Moon have revealed to us the Moon projection limits which the existence of the Sun places. We have seen that there is a direct connection between the phase of the Moon is in and how far ahead or behind it is from the Sun in the constellations in the spiral path. When we have a new moon, the Sun and the Moon appear in the same constellation. As the Moon is going to be full and is half, Sun and Moon are 3 constellations apart. At full moon we have 6 constellations difference, and when it is going to be empty and is half, 9 constellations difference. Continuous and studied observation of the face of the Moon has led us to the conclusion that the Moon is the hologramic cosmic concentrated reflection of the Earth, shaped like a lens which is formed at the end of the material field bordering the ether, at the boundary of the ionosphere with the ether. Determining the rotation of the Moon around its center for an observer during its course through each lunar day, and with knowledge of dynamics of motions and depressions, we divided the face of the Moon into axes, and in this way we can use it as a compass. Also, the above confirmation, and by experimental means, also proves the correctness of the concept. Studying the speed of the Sun and the Moon, we concluded that it is the new Moon that causes the eclipse of the Sun when they are at the same latitude. The conical refractions that create the Sun and the Moon when they are entangled shape create the phases of the Moon, while when they are opposite and not entangled, we have a full moon. When the refraction that causes the Sun is exactly opposite that of the Sun and at the same latitude, we also have a lunar eclipse. Each lunar day lasts 24 hours and 50 to 52 minutes, and during this time, the Moon makes a complete circle in the component of the circular motion in its total spiral motion. For this reason, every day the Moon lags 50 to 52 minutes behind the Sun. We have a new Moon every 29.6 days, while in a year we have 13 moons. The Prague astronomical clock and the Antikythera mechanism verify the model.
My reputation is too high that somebody dragged me loose.
Oceanographia, stars. Studying oceanography from the map of the Moon, we found that the points of the oceans characterized as super deep, as well as other energy points of the Earth, align with the constellations and generally the stars in the celestial electromagnetic dome. Essentially, there is an imprinting of these points in the etheric field above. This happens a layer above that where the Sun and Moon are created. The imprint here is simple, proportional, and not concentrated as in that of the Moon. So, in the electromagnetic dome, on this layer, we can see again the map of the Earth if we match each star with each energetic point that causes it. In this case, we see a part of the total map, almost half, on the entire celestial electromagnetic dome in the starprint layer. Celestial phenomena. By dissecting space and knowing the properties of the ionosphere, we explained shooting stars, comets, meteors, the northern lights, starbursts, and black holes. As we have in the homosphere the weather phenomena that benefit the water cycle, so we have in the heterosphere, specifically at its upper level in the ionosphere, the phenomena that benefit the cycle of noble gases and fumes. All the above phenomena are essentially burning and saturation of fumes at the level of the ionosphere. Depending on the height at which this happens, the size and composition of the fume cloud, and the type of saturation or combustions, meteorites, comets, star showers, black holes, exploding stars, etc. are created respectively. The northern lights is the electromagnetic imprint of the currents of the ionosphere because there, the ionization directly receives the energy from below from the magnetic north. The center and the big cycle. The center of the Moon is not the magnetic north. It is the center where the magnetic north moves with a radius around it. This is the so-called Great Circle, which makes one complete circle every 26,000 years. The existence of the Great Circle that magnetic north makes transforms the Earth as a living organism that ages but also regenerates. Planets. The word planet comes from the Greek word plani, which means apparent deception. The planets are not material bodies, nor they are where we see them. What we see and call planets, which have their own orbits and not like the stars of the dome which follow the rotation of the etheric field which surrounds us, are in essence impressions of fields containing one within the other, each one on its ceiling. These two fields together are contained within the field of Mars, which in turn is contained and rotates within the huge field of Jupiter. Jupiter, along with its energy field satellites, are included in the field of Saturn, which is in the field of Uranus. The divergent movement of the smaller fields within the larger fields causes their imprints to move on their own trajectory, with each imprinting on the respective ceiling of their field. This is how a different observed complex motion is created for each field planet imprint. These movements can be seen in the geocentric model and in essence show how each smaller field behaves within the larger one that is located. The outer fields seem to have swallowed the movement of the inner ones, only that they also have their own movement. Sun's and Moon's altitude. By using the solar angles of incidence per latitude and per season, we can calculate the height at which the Sun is located. At the equinox, the Sun passes directly above the equator. The angle of incidence for the most meridian moment is 90 degrees. At the same time, for example, in the circle of Capricorn, which circle is 2,500 km from the equator, at a point with the same geographic height as this point of the equator that we said before, the angle of incidence is equal to 90 minus 30 equals 60 degrees. Thus, a right triangle is created, whose angles we know as well as the lower vertical side, which is equal to the distance of the two circles of latitude and, in our example, equal to 2,500 kilometers. Taking the tangent law, we can solve for the other vertical side for the triangle, which is the height of the Sun. We find this height 5,500 kilometers. Examining the shadowing caused by the Moon depending on the circle it makes leads us to conclude that if we express the frequency of its movement in the circles of latitude, it causes the same angles of incidence with the moonlight as those of the Sun passing through the corresponding circles. Thus we conclude that the Moon is also approximately at the same height as the Sun, slightly lower. Stars regions and black sun coil. The celestial electromagnetic dome, where the stars are captured, is divided into the inner region, where it is observed from northern places of the Earth, and the outer region, where it is observed clearly from far southern Earth's places. We don't see all the layer of the star's imprints because of the perspective of the horizon for how high they are. In the inner region, the stars move converged towards the north, while in the outer region they are diverged. This is because the outer region stars are outside the bounds of the lower cosmic ray circle, and so their paths appear to diverge due to the dynamics of the source's motion. Accordingly, as we know, the stars that are within the lower cosmic energy circle converge towards the north due to the geometry of the source dynamics. The moving source that causes the cosmic energy, working like a Tesla coil, depending on where the center of excitation is, creates different angles every moment, making the constellations rotate around the pole star at a certain speed. It also captures the Sun and the Moon in different positions so that we also have their movement with different relative speeds. These movements are described in the Antikythera mechanism. As the source moves spirally in n spirals, it creates every moment different conditions of incidence of the cosmic radiation from bottom to top. The diameter d of the spiral of the black sun has a certain length much smaller than the diameter of the Earth. If we consider that the stars are imprints of points on the Earth itself, we divide the Earth, and thus the stars, into two regions. In that which is within the diameter of the downward spiral movement of the black sun, and in that which is outside. The first captures stars converging towards the north, while the second diverges.